He looked me in the eyes with that confident, glossy grin, the kind that usually comes right before a self-congratulatory monologue, and said, "Don't worry about the drinks. It's not a problem with my developer salary." I smiled. He didn't know, and I wasn't about to hand him the truth just yet. Let me take you back to the beginning. My friend Grace had invited me to a board game bar. It was supposed to be a casual night. Her boyfriend, and one of their friends, Nick. Grace had that conspiratorial tone in her voice, the kind friends use when they're nudging you towards something more than just a drink and some cards. Nick showed up polished and ready, eyes scanning the place like he owned it. We exchanged hellos, sat down, and within 10 minutes, he was off to the races. He had just landed a new job, quit his old one, joined a coding boot camp, and now he was a developer. He said it with pride, chest puffed slightly. He told me how much he made. Twice, then again, casually, a few drinks in. It was his main character moment, and he was basking in it. And you know what? I let him. We got drinks in pairs throughout the night. Grace with her boyfriend. Nick and me left at the table, or vice versa. Every time it was his turn, he'd insist. "I've got it. Don't worry, I can handle it." And always, with my developer salary, it's nothing. Each time, I gently protested. I told him he didn't need to cover me, that it wasn't necessary. But he insisted, vehemently, like it was a flex. Not once did he ask me what I did for work. Not once. But he did say, more than once, "You probably wouldn't understand that, haha." And I just sat there. I sat there while he waxed poetic about object-oriented design, project stand-ups, and agile methodologies, like he was reciting Shakespeare to a tech-illiterate audience, all while assuming, without question, that I had no clue what he was talking about. And here's the thing. For the past 4 years, I've been a software engineer. I've built systems from scratch, led teams through re-architecture projects, survived hellish sprint cycles, and shipped code that helps people every single day. But Nick never asked. He just talked about himself, talked about his career, talked about his big leap from retail to tech, like he had discovered fire. I let him carry the night, not because I wanted to play a game, but because, honestly, I was curious. What happens when someone is so desperate to be the star of the show that they don't even glance at the other actors? The night wore on. Laughter, drinks, a few games. He kept offering. I kept declining. He kept insisting. He was charming in that overcompensating kind of way, like he needed me to know he had arrived. Then came the end of the night. We stood outside, the warm buzz of the evening fading. Nick pulled out his phone, smiling. "Let me add you on Facebook," he said. I nodded. He found my profile, tapped, paused. There, under my name, plain as day, software engineer. His face shifted. "Wait, you're a software engineer?" I looked him in the eye. "Yes." There was a beat of silence. Then, "Why didn't you tell me?" I blinked. "You never asked." His eyes narrowed. "You let me believe you were a cashier, like Grace used to be." I felt the air shift. I never said that. He stepped back, wounded pride bubbling into something uglier. "You let me pay for everything, when you probably make more than me." I took a breath. "You insisted, multiple times. I offered. You declined. And if it really bothers you, I'll pay you back for the drinks." His voice rose, sharp. "You made me look like a fool." That was when it hit me. No, Nick, you did that all on your own. Still, it didn't stop there. The next day, Grace and her boyfriend reached out, told me I should have said something earlier, that it would have cost me nothing, to be honest, that I kept it to myself for my own entertainment. And they were half right. It was entertaining. But it wasn't a trick. It wasn't a trap. It was just silence. The kind of silence that echoes the loudest when someone refuses to listen. Because if Nick had stopped talking about himself for even 30 seconds, if he had looked across the table and said, "So what do you do?" If he had opened a door instead of assuming I didn't have anything worth stepping into, we wouldn't be here. But he didn't. He assumed. He projected. And when the mirror finally turned, he hated what he saw. So, am I the asshole? Here's the thing about silence. It can be a kindness, or it can be a mirror. Sometimes, when someone talks over you, when they don't ask a single question about your life, your work, your story, silence becomes your only power, not as a weapon, but as a witness. Nick wasn't just excited about his new job. He was performing. And in that performance, he decided his audience didn't matter. That's where the real problem lies. Because connection isn't about who talks the loudest. It's about who listens. So here's my question for you. When you meet someone new, do you talk to impress? Or do you pause long enough to see who's sitting across from you? Comment below if you've ever been underestimated. If you've ever let someone keep talking while you held the truth in your back pocket. And if you've been a Nick, maybe it's time to start asking better questions. Thanks for watching AITA Story Vault. See you next time.